Hoyt Nitro. First time with it.
That's my biggest buck with a bow. Big time, buddy.
Smoked him. That heart beating on him. We just broke the new nitro in, baby. And son of a gun, we just come in here and cook this cornbread.
Gonna put another buck in the truck with my new Hoyt Nitro.
Get serious. Get Hoyt.
All right. Everybody got their strategies figured out. Everybody got their yardages down pat. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Mark Ritchie on target 1, currently at 438 and 20 bonus rings. Adam Jarosky is at 432 at 19 bonus rings. Jonathan Clark is 432 and 18 bonus rings. Luke Parker is at 432 and 18 bonus rings. And Steve Anderson is at 430 and 19 bonus rings. Everybody settled in and ready? Gentlemen, we'll start your 1 minute now. All right, we'll start out with Mark Ritchie, currently on target 1, and at 438 and 8 for Mark, just low, moving him to 446. Adam Jarofsky, currently at 432 on the Brown Bear. Adam picks up a 12, moving him to 444, and only 2 points behind now. Jonathan Clark currently at 432 on the Javelina. A 10 for Jonathan, moving him to 442. Luke Parker also at 432. A 12 for Luke Parker, moving him to 444. And for Steve Anderson, a 5 for Steve, and that moves him to 435. So again, we see a quick movement in the event. Mark Ritchie started out with a 6-point lead, is now down to a 2-point lead over 2 other shooters. He's at 446, Adam at 444, Luke at 444, and Jonathan at 442. Gentlemen, if you're ready, start your 1 minute now. Okay, we're going to start with Luke Parker on target 5. But Luke's looking for a 12. He's got a 12. That moves Luke up to 456. Next for Jonathan Clark, currently at 442. He's got an 8, moving him to 450. For Adam Jarofsky, looking for a 12 to keep pace with Luke Parker. He's got his 12. That moves him to 456. Mark Ritchie with a 10 here would be in a 3-way tie for first place. But instead he takes an 8 and he moves to 454 and into second place behind Adam and Luke at 456. And Steve Anderson enjoying his 3D experience. Is a 14. He figured it out that fast, folks. A 14 for Steve Anderson. Okay, so we do have Adam and Luke at 456, Mark at 454, Jonathan at 450, and Steve at 449. Everybody's still within 10 points of our leader. This could end up anywhere again. We got two guys tied at the top at 456. So we'll start your 1 minute now. Okay, first up is Luke Parker. A 10 for Luke, moving him to 466. Next for Steve Anderson. For Steve, he's got a 10, moving him to 459. For Mark Ritchie, currently at 454. Looking to get back in the race. Looking for a 12 here. A 12 for Mark Ritchie, moves him back in the race, now puts him at 466, tied with Luke Parker. For Adam Jarofsky, looking for a he gets a 12, moving him to 468 in a lead of his own. And now for Jonathan Clark, we have a 12 for him, moving him to 462. Let's look at the board now. Adam Jarofsky has now gone to 468, he's your leader. Mark Ritchie and Luke Parker now tied at 466. We got Jonathan Clark now moving in at 462, and Steve Anderson is at 459, still within 10 points of our leader. We got two more targets. And we've had two lead changes. So let's see what happens after this arrow. We'll start your 1 minute now.
Mark.
Okay, first up for Adam Jarofsky, currently our leader, 468. A 10 moves him to 478. Next for Mark Ritchie, currently tied for second, 2 points behind. He's looking for a 12. He's got a 12, that moves him to 478, tied now with Adam Jarofsky. For Steve Anderson on the Javelina, he's got a 14 for Steve Anderson. That moves him to 473. Next up is Luke Parker. He's looking for a 12 of his own. He's got a 10 that moves him to 476. And for Jonathan Clark, looking for a 14 to put him in a tie for second place. And, just high. 4-5 moves him to 467. All right, we now have two different gentlemen tied in this round at 478. We had two guys tied at the second round, the third round. We didn't have a tie. Now we have a tie again. So now what we're going to do right now is we're going to shoot a fifth and final arrow. Anybody within 10 points will shoot a sixth arrow. We'll start your 1 minute now. Okay, let's see if that elusive 14th Coyote is going to pay dividends for Adam Jarofsky. Currently our leader at 478. He's got an 8, moving him to 486. Now for Jonathan Clark, currently at 467. A 10, moving him to 487. 1 point ahead of our current 477, I'm sorry. Now we got Luke Parker, currently at 476. A 12 for Luke Parker, moving him to 488. Yeah, 488. For Steve Anderson, a 14 for Steve Anderson. Whoa, who knew? Who knew? And for Mark Ritchie, a 12 for Mark Ritchie, moving him to 490. All right, you guys, you got 10 seconds to range it on your own. If you don't want to use that 10 seconds and trust Don, that's up to you. First up, currently at 486, is Adam Jarofsky. Steve Anderson will be second. Luke Parker third. Mark Ritchie fourth. We're looking for a clear first place winner, and this thing could end up anywhere now. All right. We'll let Adam glass it one more time, and then we'll start his 1 minute. All right, Adam, we'll start your 1 minute now. He's looking for a 14. At 48 yards, he's trying to shoot a 14 ring on a javelina. An 8 for Adam Jarofsky moves him to 494. Hey, okay, next up, Steve Anderson. First time ever in a shoot down. And we're going to go ahead and start his 1 minute now. Okay, let's see what Steve's found himself on this one. He's got a 10. That moves him to 497. The strategy here is that just finding that little piggy is a good thing, right? Okay, next up at 488, Luke Parker. He takes a 12 here. I'll put pressure on Mark Ritchie to shoot a 12 of his own to win or a 10 to tie. All right, Luke will start your 1 minute now. He's looking for a 12. I can't, there is a 10 for Luke Parker, moving him to 498. All right, Mark Ritchie needs a 10 to win. Usually this time, the top guys will step up here, shoot the 14 ring and say, that's how you do it. But I think Mark's looking for something a little more conservative. All right, Mark Ritchie settled in. You ready, buddy? We'll start your 1 minute now. He needs a solid 10. If he's got a 10, he does it. He's at 500. He's our champion. Mark Ritchie, your known 50 champion. We've got Luke Parker in second, Steve Anderson in third, and Adam Jarofsky in fourth. Great shoot down, guys. We're going to do some checks for you guys over here. And I want to ask everybody to be very careful driving home. And we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thanks for coming out and joining us today.